Hello, and thank you for choosing Bobcat Gadget Repair for your consumer electronics repair and servicing. My name is Brandon, and I own and operate Bobcat Gadget Repair, and I'm going to be showing you guys how we go about doing the glass-only repair on an Apple Watch. So here I have a Series 1 42mm. Right now we're testing the LCD to make sure that it still works. If you send us your watch, even if some of the touchscreen doesn't work, the whole touchscreen is going to be replaced. So as long as it looks like this, and we can see everything fine, and there's nothing visibly wrong with the display, it's good to go. So basically all we're going to do here is first and foremost get this battery disconnected. It's really important that we disconnect the battery as soon as we can, as soon as we get the device open and off, or off and open, so that nothing shorts out. It's the most important part of this whole process, is making sure that nothing shorts out. So after we pull out the battery, we're free to disconnect the display assembly, and we'll set the housing and the battery aside for later. Now this is the full display, and this is the LCD, which is the part that we're preserving, and the digitizer, which is the part that we're replacing. So we'll be removing these solder points right here that I just pointed out. This is a pretty quick process. We don't have to do any heavy soldering. I actually avoid soldering in entirety, and I just choose to use my hot air rework station. It's fast, it's safe, it's clean, there's no liquids. That makes the whole process that much better. So I'm just gonna hit this real fast. It'll only be for 2 seconds maximum. And just like that, it's desoldered, and we are ready to move on to the next step. So right here I'm just separating the flexes from the digitizer and the LCD. They're adhered together, so we're just getting those separated. So now that we have all that separated, we're ready to go ahead and get started on separating this glass. So I have some gold-plated wire here, and I have it just connected to a handle stick, and now we need to insert this wire in between the glass and the display. So you can kind of tell there in the corner, I didn't see it, it's already been started. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the separation process. So this portion of the process is actually why people don't do this that much. It takes a lot of confidence, and you have to really have a touch developed to keep from really damaging anything. But as you'll see throughout this video, I'm very skilled at what I do. So this is just the rest of removing the glass. It's just a slow process. The point is to go as slow as you can and keep the glass hot so that you can separate it easily without putting too much stress on the LCD itself. So right here we're just separating it from the glass, and that's it. At this point, the scary part's done. Everything else past this is really just clean up, and nothing really invasive anymore. I think the worst thing that we have left is the waterproofing, and that's not bad at all. So this is the display without the glass, and it just has some adhesive there on top of it that I'm going to go ahead and get rid of now. This process looks like it might be a little dangerous for the LCD, but it rolls off super easy. There's no issues here. This is definitely one of the easiest parts. It's just slow. You just gotta take your time. Once we get the majority of the adhesive off, we use an oil-based adhesive remover to go ahead and get rid of all the residue and all the light adhesive left behind. And then we'll go back over it with some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and then we'll go back over again with 100% acetone to make sure that we get all of the oils, all of the dust, everything off of there, all the old adhesive. So right here I'm cutting out a sheet of optically clear adhesive that's going to bind the LCD and the digitizer together. This basically keeps a beautiful dust-free barrier between the glass digitizer itself and the display. Now that we've got the OCA on the LCD, we're going to peel off the other side of this and get it adhered to the digitizer. So here we very carefully align it. This is another one of those things that really just takes a developed touch. So this is what the screen is going to look like after it comes out of the autoclave. So basically what happens is after we put the two pieces together, we put it in a heated pressure chamber so that it'll stretch out the adhesive so you get this clean and glossy look and you don't have no bubbles left behind. Here I'm just getting the flexes realigned and going ahead and getting my rework station and gonna get these solder points back together. Once again, super safe, couple seconds and it's done. Let it cool off, and that's it for that. Now we are to the portion where we test the new screen that we just made. So far so good. So after booting up, you can see that the touchscreen doesn't work. Don't worry, this is normal and part of the process. At this point, we will be restoring the Apple Watch to its original firmware because in order for the digitizer to function properly, it has to be restored with the LCD that it's being paired with. This is our Apple diagnostic tool, and we'll basically hook this up, and we have the factory firmware, and we'll load it on up, and it'll be just what the digitizer needed to get working again. Here we secure the watch and the diagnostic tool together simply to keep it from falling apart if it were to drop for any reason. Alright, now that the watch is done restoring, I can remove this band and let it finish up on the watch itself. So now I can set this aside. And this is a really great thing that Apple did, putting out diagnostic tools so that we could work on your watches. So after the restore, you can see the watch is perfect. So now it's time to do some waterproofing. There's a little bit of a gap here, and we really take advantage of that when we're doing the waterproofing. It just gives us space to really make sure that we get a solid bead. So what we use is B7000 adhesive. It's a flexible adhesive, which means that it adds shock that wasn't previously there because Apple uses solid adhesives. It's completely waterproof, and we take our time and make sure that we get it on every single bit. And it's significantly better than the OEM adhesive that Apple uses on there. So this is it. Again, it looks messy right now, but we like to make sure that you really get enough in there. It goes over the edges a bit, and this stuff cleans up really well. So it's not a huge deal to get it a mess. We'd rather have more than not enough. So now that we've got it aligned and we've got it clamped, we'll go ahead and get this thing cleaned up and show you the final product. And that's it. Just like that. Cracked Apple Watch is now a beautiful, perfect screen, 10 out of 10 Apple Watch. If you have any questions, please contact us before you buy this service, and we thank you for taking this into consideration.